Right now on WIS at 6, Midland schools trying to reel in their dropouts one knock at a time.
And Governor Nikki Haley live in Washington, D.C. She's talking about what she calls the New South in South Carolina. I've got a live report from our nation's capital.
And temperatures heating up a little bit this afternoon. We'll talk about how long this heat lasts. Also, a look at the game day forecast for tomorrow night. That's coming up in a minute. Your news at 6. It starts right now.
Investigating the stories that matter to you. Live from Columbia in high definition. This is WIS News 10.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to WIS at 6. I'm Judy.
Kick off its football season tomorrow night against the North Carolina Tar Heels. The USC-UNC rivalry started in 1903. The last time the Gamecocks and Tar Heels met was 2013. The Gamecocks won that one, 27-10. Sports Director Rick Henry will have a preview for you coming up in sports.
And we want to make sure your game day is worry-free. Here are a list of items not allowed inside Bank of America Stadium. It includes, of course, weapons, drugs, alcohol. You'll also want to pack your ponchos in case there's a little rain because umbrellas are not allowed. Also, of course, no pets. However, that does not include service animals. We know Gamecock fans want to document the event, but no cameras allowed inside either.
And we're making sure you're all weather aware for the clash of the Carolinas.
So what are we thinking, John? I've heard maybe sunny with a chance of sandstorm.
Yeah, sandstorm. Sandstorm. That's the ticket.
That's going to cover it. It really will. Yeah, tomorrow, this is the story. Remember, we're from famously hot Columbia. So when we go up there and say 90 degrees, yeah, it's going to be a little on the warm side, but nothing compared to, if you remember, 2 years ago, remember the kickoff here? We had heat index numbers in the 105 range. Nothing like that. 90 degrees or so. There will be a few scattered showers here and there, but that's going to do it. As we work our way through the game, 86 degrees at 8, and we're down to the low 80s by the time the whole thing wraps up. So should be a nice evening for football, save a few scattered showers here and there. Speaking of them, right now they're located to our south. You can see Orangeburg County picking up a little bit, not much. Again, there's not a whole lot here. What's the bigger deal out there today? Temperatures and humidity. Temperatures right now, how about this? Columbia is 92, but throw the humidity in, it feels like 95. So kind of sticky. That's the way it's going to be for the rest of the evening. If you're heading out, this is how things will shake down for you. As you see, 80s and then 70s. Overnight tonight, we're down to the low 70s. A little bit of late fog. Tomorrow, really a repeat of what we have today. Again, mid-90s, feeling a little on the hot side, factor in the humidity. In some cases, it'll be closer to 100 degrees. Now, there is some cooling in the forecast. I'll tell you when that arrives. There's also some rain. That's coming up in a few minutes.
For up-to-the-minute game day forecast, download the WIS Weather app. You can find it by searching WIS Weather in your app store. Just keep in mind, standard data and text rates may apply.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sam Blyweiss from the WIS Alert Center. Columbia police are still looking for suspects in connection to an afternoon shooting on Millwood Avenue. We have a new picture here for you. The man was in a group of people on Millwood. As you can see here in this picture, this scene, he was standing outside when shots were fired from somebody in a moving car. We're told the man was shot in the leg, but his injuries are not life-threatening. And this is a picture of a Chevy Tahoe, officials say, in connection with this shooting, seen along Millwood Avenue around 3 p.m. We're, of course, asking you to call Crime Stoppers at 1-888-CRIME-SC if you know anything that can help investigators.
A county clerk in Kentucky is expected to appear before a judge tomorrow to explain why she is refusing court orders to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples. Kim Davis says she is doing it on God's authority. Her stance has drawn support and criticism from conservative leaders here in the Midlands. Senior reporter Jack Kinsey joins us live from the Richland County Judicial Center with more. Jack?
Davis, Judy has indicated that she will not change her position despite federal court rulings on same-sex marriage, commanding her to carry out her duties as the Rowan County, Kentucky clerk of court. Her refusal has led to heated protests in her office as people try to get licenses and remind her that they pay her salary. We have seen no similar conflicts in this state since federal rulings here and the landmark U.S. Supreme Court ruling back in June. We did hear from conservative leaders today, including Senator Lindsey Graham and the head of the Palmetto Family Council, who say Davis does need to follow the rule of law in this country.
The law can't be completely flouted just because she disagrees with it. And oddly enough, we were not happy with the outcome of the Supreme Court decision because we think the people should have had a chance to vote on it, state by state. But not good law to just ignore it.
We also heard from the executive director of the South Carolina Pastors Alliance, Mike Gonzalez. He backs what Davis has done and rejects the Supreme Court's findings. Gonzalez says God's word trumps the Constitution, as he put it. He thinks South Carolina should follow the lead of North Carolina and provide some sort of legal protection for magistrates and other court officials as they try to tackle these issues when they come up in their jurisdictions. We're live at the Richland County Judicial Center. Jack Kinsey, WIS News 10.
Governor Nikki Haley has been talking racial equality in Washington, D.C. today, saying there's a new South and it's her South. She addressed the National Press Club in D.C. today. Will Whitson was the only Midlands reporter there, and he joins us live from Washington. Will?
Well, Charles, when Governor Haley spoke to that crowd at the National Press Club, she pointed out that many of the policies she's enacted as her time of South Carolina governor, they have helped with racial equality, saying that improving education, bringing in jobs, that helps minorities in rural areas. Now, Governor Haley, she addressed the press club with a 25-minute speech and then a 30-minute Q&A. And the speech was supposed to focus mainly on South Carolina's economy, but the governor spent maybe a quarter of the speech talking about that. For the most part, she addressed some of her family's own difficulties with racial discrimination as growing up as a girl in Bamberg, and she also spent a good portion of her time talking about that Confederate flag vote that occurred after the Emanuel AME Church shootings in June. But Governor Haley, she was also quick to emphasize that the South and South Carolina as a whole, they're not racially charged. She said if that were the case, she would not be the state's first minority and female governor.
I firmly believe that every child deserves a great education regardless of where they're born and raised. But in doing so, there's no question that it has a racial impact because of the high correlation between poverty and race.
Now, Governor Haley, she's talking about her K-12 education funding reform that was passed last year. She spoke about the importance of that, the importance of bringing in jobs into rural counties like Bamberg, where she says you have a large poverty rate. Many of those people in poverty are minorities, and that brings jobs and better paying jobs to those areas. I'm live here in Washington, D.C. Will Whitson, WIS News 10.
Some Orangeburg teenagers who dropped out of school are headed back to class.
Yeah, they're taking a new shot at education after education volunteers hit the streets for the district's 4th annual Reach Out for Dropouts initiative.
WIS's Billie Jean Shaw was there today as some students made some really life-changing decisions.
Right, Judy and Charles. 125 volunteers showed up bright and early at Orangeburg Wilkinson High School on Saturday. They were dressed in their Reach Out for Dropout shirts, jeans, and the most comfortable pair of tennis shoes in their closet. Their group went to 80 different homes across the county, encouraging teens to return to school.
Aren't you excited to be here today? On Saturday morning, more than 100 volunteers were fired up and ready to go as they set out on a mission to bring dropout students in Orangeburg School District 5 back to school.
A village still is key to making a difference in a child's life, all right? We believe in that village concept. Well, that's why we're here today.
After a coaching session, the volunteers divided into groups and headed to several homes of former students. The initiative was created in 2011 by Superintendent Dr. Cynthia Wilson.
We want to make sure that every child has an opportunity to graduate from high school, and so we go to those students' homes who have not returned this year.
Good morning.
Morning, how you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Hi, how y'all doing?
I'm good, I'm sorry to wake you up. Is Mark home?
The first home that Dr. Wilson and her group visited was the home of a 17-year-old who last attended grade school in the 8th grade.
You already have a start. All you have to do is finish, one day at a time. Well, okay? You think you can do that?
He agrees.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we're going to give you some information on who you can call and come back and get you started. We tried to get him to come and sign up today, which is an opportunity that we offer kids to sign up today. Don't wait another moment. But he said that he would come back Monday, and we're going to send someone out. We made an appointment with him to pick him up at 9.
Then it was a visit to the second house of the day.
Hey, Ivory.
How you doing, dear?
You want us to give you a minute to get up?
Ivory Washington admitted that she was only a few hours away from graduating before she dropped out.
I mean, how many credits do you need to graduate?
8.
Ivory, you can get that done in a semester. You can get that done by December.
After talking to the group, Ivory decided to return to school that very day to register.
I just felt like kind of good to know that people was there to, you know, at least encourage me and help me, you know, move forward in life.
She was just 1 out of 8 students to return to school that day.
I'm doing something so that my mother could be proud. I never wanted to let my mother down.
We just want to make sure that we give students an opportunity to get an education.
I love this. I'm coming back to school, so I'm gonna graduate. That's it.
Now, when the program started 4 years ago, the dropout rate was 2.5. Now it is at 1.6 with nearly 1,800 students registered, which is the highest high school enrollment that the district has seen since 2010.
Wow. I love everything about that story because you have people who live in the community, boots on the ground, literally going out there, reaching out personally and connecting with these kids. But the kids,
some of them so close.
So close, and to actually be there, and when those kids walked through the doors and filled out their papers to register again, like the last young lady you heard from, she said she got emotional.
Well, and that's what I was going to say, the kids making that decision themselves, and to know that that one young lady can be done in December, and her whole future will be different because of her decision that she made to go back.
And it's very inspiring. I even got inspired just listening to them and them making that decision to go back. It was so beautiful. I loved it.
I loved it too.
Thanks,
Great
Billie
job,
Jean.
Billie Jean. Thank you so much. Well, stay with us, everyone.
John Farley will check out that full forecast. It's coming up.
Welcome back. 5:34 here. Not 5:34. What time is it? Our clock is completely wrong. I just said it was 5:34. 6:13. Thing is stuck. All right, let's show you. Here we go. Temperatures right now in the low 90s, but throw the humidity in and it feels a little higher than that. So the humidity numbers are up a little bit this afternoon. Mid-80s with some showers. That's your forecast.
Real talk at a Columbia High School of veterans' words of wisdom to America's future.
And I'm grateful that we are speaking English today. And I did my duty to my God and my country to preserve that for you. Because you are this country now.
Powerful words from World War II veteran Lou Fowler. He spoke today with students at Richland Northeast High School at an event to honor the 70th anniversary of the ending of World War II.
Fowler gave students details of his experiences in being a prisoner of war. He says he never realized the true value of something until you lose it.
He really pointed out some things that we didn't really think of. Like, we know of prisoners in the war, but the depth that he went into, like, he took it to a personal level, how it was his country and he had the responsibility of fighting for it.
It was very good. I nearly cried to tears. And I would love to see all the veterans in person because they inspire me to do great in school and stuff.
Wow, I'm so glad the students understood the depth and the magnitude of that experience today. Fowler said out of 300 death camps, more than 8 million people were executed. He says veterans ensure the future of America by winning the war.
Wow. Well, the Gamecocks and Tar Heels will go at it tomorrow, but they're also signing up for more Charlotte games.
And we will hear from the driver who won the last Southern 500 run on Labor Day weekend. Sports up next. Plus, NASCAR fans from around the country will spend the holiday weekend in Darlington. We'll be there with an hour of pre-race coverage on WIS starting at 6 p.m. Sunday. Go to WISTV.com, click the big red 10 to find out everything you need to know about the tickets, the rules about items not allowed, and to make sure you have everything to enjoy the race on race day.
Thursday's season opener between the Gamecocks and the Tar Heels will not be the final clash of the Carolinas in Charlotte. And we have something in common. He's going to be the Grand Marshal of the Southern 500 Parade.
Yes.
And I was the Grand Marshal many years ago. So I told him I've set the bar really high.
Oh, yes, you have it, as you always do.
Was he impressed?
Yeah.
Oh.
Not really.
All right, and we're looking at more heat.
Yeah, more heat the next couple of days, then rain this weekend.
NBC Nightly News up next.